Sup, guys. We're here for the Council Network. Let's talk about SmackDown No Mercy 2016. The good, the bad. Just overall review slash discussion. More discussion than anything. And go for it. So, the kickoff show, I think, was better than pretty much the Corbin and Jack Swagger match because I wasn't invested in their feud, to say the least. It just feels like Swagger's trying to get a name for himself. And it just feels like WWE is trying to get Baron Corbin up there, and he's just low card right now, which I don't. It just sucks. It is what it is. So obviously the show opened up with John Cena versus AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose in a triple threat for the WWE World Heavyweight Title. Now, why this, and why is this not the main event? Well, this is the main event, but why isn't it the end of the show? That's because the debate was happening. That's because football was happening. And WWE did not want to lose out money. And they wanted to make sure that you were invested in that first match. Which, honestly, I really was. It was an hour long. Everyone had great spots. Ambrose even looked strong in this match. Which, going into it, I'll be honest, I thought he was pretty much going to get buried by Cena and AJ Styles because those two really don't, they really do know how to, they really do know how to work a crowd. They really do know how to work a match. They really do know how to get those spots in where everyone looks strong. And it's kind of that moment where it was John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and Seth Rollins. And that's when you knew Seth Rollins was main eventer. It really felt like Ambrose shined a lot brighter than he has the past couple of months in this, I want to say main event constantly, but I can't, in this opening match. And it was amazing. Now, AJ Styles winning with a steel chair, is it right? Am I salty about it? Fuck no. He's a heel. That's what heels do. They're not supposed to win, by like what the good guys do. They're supposed to cheat. They're supposed to lie. They're supposed to do whatever it takes to win, and that's what AJ Styles did to prove he is the man. He is the face that runs the place, and I love it. I love the match. I love the Styles clash. I love I don't even think we saw a Styles clash. I just like the move in general, but I don't even think we saw one. A lot of it was really different than what we typically see. Like AJ, John Cena did this whole 360 spin with AJ, like, in the middle. It was crazy. And he powerbombed them from it. I was like, what in the world is that? And Cena just pulling out new moves left and right. It was good to see. Honestly, that's something Ambrose could take a note out of. Not that I don't like the guy, but that is something he can note. Chris Jericho said it best. Sometimes when you change up just even the slightest little thing, it refreshes your character. It makes people more invested in you. And that's what made this match that much better than I was expecting it to be, completely fair. But it was a really lengthy match. They put on a great match, but what followed really dragged it down, which was Nikki Bella versus Carmella, because it's just like, how do you follow after that match? How do you maintain the excitement? You really can't. And it's not against both of these women. I like Carmella when she's face. I don't really care for her when she's heel. Because when she's face, she's with Enzo and Cass, and of course, NXT days. I know we haven't really seen her face outside of NXT. Trust me, I know, but I was more invested on her coming face and Nikki being a heel. Nikki going over in this match, I'm just at the point where I'm like, okay, it's to make Nikki have a rivalry with her. She went over because she's face. Cool. Let's just move on to the next match. I don't mean to put it down, but it's just like, it's so... I'm not invested like I was with the AJ match. Like, how do you follow after that? Then we get to the tag team match, which was Rhino and One Man Band versus the Usos. I lost my voice because that Comic-Con New York Sting came out to the Ninja Turtle panel, and I screamed like a man-child, to say the least. You actually checked. You actually did. And I got to meet him. It was amazing. But, back to the point. I was rooting for Rhino and Slater to win. I was expecting the Usos to win. I am beyond happy that wasn't the case. The finish looked great. I love the match. I was expecting a little bit more dirtiness to come out of the Usos, not Unos. I'm half asleep. Not enough coffee. 10 out of 10. The Usos to really just get in there and be more heelish, I guess, because they're new to the role. I don't really know. The tag team match was solid. I got really no complaints about it. I just want to see them go against somewhere else, someone else. This was one of the biggest bads for me, just in complete general, which was, of course, the Jack Swagger and Baron Corbin. I like Baron Corbin because he's the kind of guy that don't give a fuck if you hate him. He really doesn't. And I love it. Jack Swagger, I'm not invested on this guy. I'm really not. Honestly, he's been off TV for what, months? And use him on main event? No one watches main event, to be completely fair. Unless you got tickets to go to main event, which it's just it is what it is. And Jack Swagger, it's they mentioned, he's a former world heavyweight champion. How many years ago was that? 4? He hasn't won a title since. He hasn't been pushed since. He hasn't really been on TV as much. He had a feud with Rusev. If he would have won the U.S. title then, yeah, he could have gotten a nice push, but nope. Nope. Then we get to the other match I thought was going to be the main event for the night, but turned out it didn't, which was The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. Before I get completely into it, I gotta hand it to both of these guys. What the fuck did they pull out? I'm speechless. I was not expecting the match to be a 5-star match. That was a 5-star match. The storytelling, the in-ring psychology, the back and forth, the feeling that Dolph Ziggler was going to lose completely and be out of WWE, repackage himself, and come back as a completely different wrestler. Having the Spirit Squad there was symbiotic to what Ziggler started from. Having Maurice there in the dirty tactic of spraying Ziggler in the face and him putting his foot up just in the nick of time to get in there. Ziggler selling the fact that he would put up anything to finally get a win. Every loss that Ziggler had to this point it just made sense and had a reason behind it. And that reason was for tonight. The payoff was tonight. And it was brilliantly done and executed, and the house was nuts. Just everyone was overexcited when Ziggler won. We have no one really shouted for Ziggler so much. And it's just like Heath Slater. They did the Heath Slater thing, but they did it a little bit more sly, and I loved it. The spots that Miz and Ziggler both did were great. And I honestly thought it was just going to be another saturation match with the whole Cesaro versus Sheamus thing over and over and over and over and over. That wasn't the case. Both of these guys are now 5-time champs, and Ziggler, God honestly, earned that spot. And what a fucking match it was. Unfortunately, because Becky Lynch is injured, not a major injury, but an injury that'll keep her sidelined for a few weeks, we got Alexa Bliss versus Naomi, with Naomi winning. Obviously, I think it's safe to say Becky would have won. That's probably why they did that. And Becky, get well soon. We love you, lass. We really do. And the final match of the night was Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. And a lot of people are not invested in this match. You hear it with the crowd. The excitement died off. And the excitement died off because of the Miz and Ziggler match. That match was on fire. That was the match of the night with the whole, triple threat. Those were the two best matches. And you get to this point, and I have nothing against Randy Orton. I love Randy Orton. He's one of my favorites. I love Bray Wyatt. He's one of my favorites. But the problem is, it's not the build-up. It's the fact that you go in thinking Bray's going to lose, because what has Bray done for the past couple of years? He has constantly lost. His win-to-loss record is so bad that people are just not invested into him anymore as they used to be. What they should have done is have him win and made him to a second monster heel. He should be up to the level that AJ Styles is at. He should be a main eventer, and it's piss poor that it's taken this long for them to, I guess, start to realize it here. And it was a big surprise to come back tonight, which I'm very happy they actually did that, to have the Wyatt family sort of reunite there. Having Luke Harper at the end of it to finish off the entire thing was great. I did not expect it, and it made me reinvest into it. And we pretty much can go Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt 2.0, but Bray's got to keep winning this feud. I'm sorry to say that. As much as I like Orton, Bray's got to win. We need Bray as a monster heel, not a half-ass heel, not a half-ass build-up. They need to freaking just commit to him, build him up as much as possible, and just put him out there in the spotlight and eventually give Bray a championship. That is the one thing that WWE is lacking in, honestly, is not pulling the trigger on guys like Bray Wyatt who really, honestly deserve it. Because if you do, and you do the proper build-up, you get a new superstar, more merch to sell. I don't really want to get invested in Bray Wyatt because of the simple fact that he constantly loses. And it's like, yeah, he comes out with some of the greatest promos ever, but when a guy constantly loses, you're like, just sleep mode, turn on. Especially after that Ziggler and Miz match. And it wasn't that the match was bad, it was good. It's just you can't get invested into it. So hopefully they adjust that. But pay-per-view was still pretty damn good for even losing out on Becky. And pretty damn good for opening with the main event right in the front. So definitely was a good pay-per-view in my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think. And I'm going to go pass out now because New York Comic Con took it out of me. And I have a bunch of videos that need to come out to you guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.